Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the lakefront of Cleveland. Let's give everybody a round of applause for coming out today. It's a beautiful morning here for the groundbreaking for the new trail from East 9th all the way out to East 55th, linking a critical piece of infrastructure here in Northeast Ohio. This project would not be complete without the true partnerships across the board, and you're going to get to hear from a number of the partners that are putting this together. It's really progress through partnerships. I've talked about this 8, 80, or 8. Whether you're 8 years old or 80 years old, you should have an 8-minute walk or ride to the park. And here today, we're bringing more of those wonderful trail connections to add to the 325 plus miles of Cleveland Metroparks. We have with us today our very first speaker. I would love to introduce Chris Ronayne. Let's give him a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Brian Zimmerman, and thanks for all you do at Cleveland Metroparks. Good morning, everybody. Morning. Who brought the weather? Here on the Cleveland Lakefront. I'm glad to be with you as your Cuyahoga County executive. It is a great day in Cleveland, Ohio, Mayor, and throughout the region when we can connect the dots, when we can connect communities to the lakefront, when we can build, as we always say we want to do in Cuyahoga County, is a better quality of life for all of our residents. So that's what this project is all about. A $12 million project from East 9th to East 55th Street, linking 2.7 miles of the Lakefront Trail and part of the Cuyahoga County Greenway. Thank you very much. Start over. Again, a $12 million project from East 9th to East 55th Street, 2.7 miles. This being the North Marginal Trail, but really connecting the Cleveland Lakefront Bike Trail and the Cuyahoga County Greenway. Our efforts is to create a better quality of life all throughout our communities of Cuyahoga County and connect neighborhoods to the lakefront and to their natural assets. So we're here to celebrate a multiple partnership here in Cleveland. It has been great to have the support of our federal government. The Biden-Harris administration continues to bring dollars home to Cleveland, to Cuyahoga County, and to the region. NOACA, our Metropolitan Planning Organization, Grace Gallucci, thank you for helping bring home $5.6 million from the federal government. To the Mandel Foundation, I think he's going to speak in a minute, but Steve Hoffman, thank you for what you've done, your advocacy for $5 million to the Metroparks to make this a go. And of course to the City of Cleveland, Mayor Bibb, and also to our county staff, thank you. It's the people around the horn here that do the work. I want to certainly point out on my team, Mike Dever, our Director of Public Works, who's kept with this. It was the county's vision, continues to be the county's vision to build a better connected lakefront, obviously with partners like the City of Cleveland and the Metroparks. But to our planning and design team, the county put in about $1 million in planning and design. We couldn't have done it without the Baker team. Thank you, Doug and Jeff, for being out here today with us and others. You guys rock. You keep connecting the dots. I want to say a couple things about a couple of other people who aren't here today. Steve knows him well, but a lot of us know him well. Mayor Bibb's predecessor, 3 removed. Mayor White. Mayor Michael White brought the first vision of the quality experience along the North Marginal, and then he kicked it in again with you, Steve, to support the Metroparks again. That vision of Mayor White continues to thrive, and while I know he's on break today and not with us today, I got to give credit back to him for initial connections. And another person who may or may not be with us today, but a lot of us know her in the neighborhood work we've done over the years, Bobby Richtel. Bobby is somebody who's worked tirelessly throughout the city of Cleveland, but specifically with the campus district, which is the area in and around Cleveland State. And they were the original TLCI, Transportation Livable Communities Initiative, that actually brought the project to the forefront by bringing the original dollars in. So we build on the work of each other. We stand on each other's shoulders. Ultimately, the joy in this project is going to be see families walking, riding, and people who are visiting us enjoying a better lakefront experience thanks to the Metroparks. I want to give it back one more time to Brian Zimmerman with thanks. And also, if I could take personal privilege, I got to say hi to my wife, who I rarely see on a daily basis. But thank you, Ronayne, who's the Chief Development Officer also at the Metroparks.
Definitely philanthropy is a big part of this. Thank you so much, Chris. We are next honored to have the Cleveland Mayor, Justin Bibb, with the City of Cleveland, the Mayor's Office of Capital Projects, City Real Estate Division. Again, true partnerships. We cannot do this alone. We have a heavy lift, and we have all partners going in the right direction. Let's give Mayor Bibb a big round of applause.
Well, it is a beautiful day in the land on America's North Coast. And there are a couple of themes that are on my mind today as we celebrate this historic groundbreaking. First and foremost, momentum, momentum, momentum. As I've often said before, Mr. Executive, every mayor since Tom Johnson has probably had a lakefront plan. And I'm just so honored to build on the momentum from former Mayor Jane Campbell to former Mayor Michael R. White to former Mayor Frank Jackson. We have been working very hard to make our lakefront not just a downtown asset, not just a West Side asset, but an all of Cleveland asset. And what gets me excited is that for the first time in nearly a generation, our East Side residents will now have the experience to experience a world-class lakefront for the first time. That's what city building is all about. Secondly, as the county executive mentioned, we have every level of government focused on bringing this vision to reality. From the great works that Metroparks is doing, to our great partners at NOACA, to our foundation partners from the Morton Mandel Foundation and a host of others. We truly have an all-in approach with everybody around the table to make this vision a reality. And the last thing I would say is we can't do the hard work of city building without rooting this important work in the lived experiences of our residents. And our team, in collaboration with GCP and the county and a host of other key community organizations, we've been knocking on doors, doing town halls, going to Dave's grocery store, you name it, talking to Black folks, white folks, East Side residents, West Side residents about what they want to see at our lakefront. And today's announcement, today's groundbreaking is a symbol of what grounding city planning in the lived experiences of our residents is all about. So I'm excited about today's announcement. I'm excited about the progress ahead. We have a lot more work to do. It is not mission accomplished, but today is a great day to celebrate the great progress that all the partners around this table have made to make today possible. So again, congratulations, and I'll hand the mic back to Brian. Brian.
Before I introduce the next group of speakers, really the lift, and we talk about Mike over there, and Mike's been part of this from the get-go. Many conversations over lots of different time frames, but our legal team, Rose, Kyle, our director of park operations, Matt Krems-Kirchhoff. Let's give them a huge round of applause. This place did not look like this about 3 or 4 days ago. We had a huge storm surge over the top of here. They were even concerned that we weren't going to actually be able to host it, and I said, oh no, that's not how this is going to go. We are going to be ready for this. Sean McDermott, the planning, Jared McCarthy, director of enterprise. Again, all of the staff really, they are the heartbeat of this. Our next speaker is our current board president. I'd love to introduce Dan Moore. He joined the board in 2011, and under his leadership, and he's wearing his tennis shoes today, he has challenged us to grow our regional system of trails, and today we are going to do that. Dan, you're up. Let's give him a round of applause.
I'm wearing tennis shoes, Brian, just to try to keep up with you. As the current president of the Cleveland Metroparks Board of Park Commissioners, I'm pleased to join our partners and our community in the groundbreaking of this wonderful trail. The Cleveland Metropark has worked tirelessly to expand the park through trail connections, and this important addition to our network is made possible through the power of partnerships. And I think you're going to hear that word again and again, because the lakefront development is all partnerships. First, the partnership with the Cuyahoga Greenway partners, who allow us to execute a large-scale vision of conductivity across this region. And then to the Cuyahoga County Department of Public Works and their leadership in sponsoring this project and in executing the development. And finally, but not by no means less important, the tremendous support of the Mandel Foundation. They've just been incredible participants in this, and not only the trail here, but in the development of some of these east side neighborhoods, which are so important. The last Metropark levy passed with, I believe, Brian, it was a almost 78% approval, and this is the significance of this is a lot of it is attributable to trails. Nearly 75% of our park visitors identified trails as the #1 reason they visit the park on any given day. So connectivity, connecting these wonderful assets that we have in Cleveland is extremely important. Since 2010, we've added nearly 60 miles of new paved and natural trails, bringing our mileage to about 325 and fostering a much more accessible, connected region. Strategically, we've aimed to improve access to communities in need. In the last 9 years, we've improved access for these Cuyahoga County residents who live within a half a mile of our parks by nearly 25%. So 25% more of our residents in challenging neighborhoods now have access to the park system, and this is going to increase as we go on. The North Marginal Trail from East 9th to East 55th not only completes a vital link in the Cleveland Lakefront Bikeway, but it also is another step in enhancing connections to parks, marinas, and other iconic destinations and vibrant communities like University Circle, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, etc. As we look ahead, this trail is also a major foundation for the Cheers project, which will provide more public access and more natural shoreline. Where we stand now, this is going to be out here and east, and this is where the dredgings will go from the dredgings of the Cuyahoga River. It will also provide better connections to an enhanced Gordon Park, which is being made possible again through the Mandel Foundation. On behalf of the Cleveland Metroparks and our Board of Commissioners, I want again to give major thanks to all of our partners here today. Through cooperation, calibration, and investment, we're making our region safer, greener, and more connected, both to our lakefront and to each other.
Dan forgot to mention the Cleveland Browns downtown. I thought that would be met with some applause here. Come on. No matter what happens on the lakefront, we're here for all of the residents. And we're building the future. And without the future, without the help of the Mandel Foundation, I am very proud to welcome Stephen Hoffman, chairman of the board of the Jack Joseph and Morton Mandel Foundation. It goes without saying, without their help, we would not be standing here today. So let's give them another huge round of applause for their work connecting St. Clair Superior, the Glenville area, to Lake Erie.
Thanks, Chris. Thanks very much, Brian. The Jack Joseph and Morton Mandel Foundation is proud to support the construction of the North Marginal Trail here on Cleveland's east side. The foundation was established right here in Cleveland over 70 years ago by Jack Joseph and Morton Mandel, and I'm especially happy this morning that we have the 5th generation of the Mandels here, Joe's great-grandsons. So really great to have you. They established the foundation with several goals, including to improve society and the quality of life and to make a difference in urban engagement. The $5 million grant awarded to Cleveland Metroparks to help fund the construction of this transformative new trail will serve as a catalyst for tremendous investment in furthering lakefront access and recreational opportunities for all our citizens, but especially the residents of neighborhoods that are adjacent to Lake Erie within the city of Cleveland. This is a great example of a public-private partnership that seeks to benefit the public greatly with the added value of what it does for downtown Cleveland. Lake Erie is an integral part of our city and region, from our environmental health, our economic vitality, and our cultural heritage, and everyone deserves the opportunity to enjoy it. With this new trail together, we are strengthening our neighborhoods, connecting people to each other and Lake Erie, and enhancing the quality of life. Thank you for the opportunity.
You know, it's interesting, the word connecting is one of the words that has been really highlighted if you did a word cloud. And I don't know if there's anybody better to talk about connections than Mary Serby, with the executive director of the Cuyahoga County Planning Commission, a true visionary for the region. Without their organization, all these projects they're hard to be successful. And when you look at how Cuyahoga County is one of the most well-mapped counties in America, these things will be able to set for generations. County Executive Ronayne mentioned Bobby Richtel. This started over a decade ago, and this is how long these things take, and you have to have a tenor, a tone, and a pace, and by which you get things done, and then you have to deliver them, and we are delivering them. So let's give Mary Serby a huge round of applause.
Thank you, Brian. Yeah, I have to just say I am absolutely honored to be here. A few years ago, there's a bunch of people here that helped write an EDA grant to get this project funded. We were not successful, but that was a true partnership with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, Metroparks, Cleveland City, County. I think you keep hearing the common theme here, that it is partnerships. We are in an era that like no other right now, with the city administration, county administration, all of us working together really to help improve the lives of our residents. As Brian mentioned, the Greenways plan is a plan that's truly a blueprint for trail connections. And we think about trails, and we don't want to just think about them as recreation. These trails are really commuter sheds right now for people who don't own vehicles, who need to get to and from their places of employment. So one thing I think that COVID taught us is that everybody wants to be outside. We have to make connections that are safe for people, that they know how to connect to the next segment. And this is a very important segment. When we think about the Cheers project and all the other projects, that we're really trying to get our residents that don't maybe live anywhere near the lake access to our beautiful lakefront and the amenities it has to offer. We continue working with the 59 communities and townships in Cuyahoga County to really help make those connections at the neighborhood level. Some areas it might be a bike lane, some areas it might be a sharrow, but we really want to make sure that we are making those connections. And I just think the partnership, the coordination, the collaboration is really like none other that I've ever seen. And so I am very proud to be here and so excited about this big piece of this was a regional link. This is a big connection, and we're going to continue making those connections through our neighborhoods and to our assets in Cuyahoga County. So thank you.
So when we talk about funding, we talk about Grace Gallucci and NOACA. I think of them as the meat and potatoes. So when you look at the funding, this is $5.6 million. This is the largest stack of capital funding to put this together. And without the leadership of Grace and NOACA, we would not be successful with the Federal Highway Admission Carbon Reduction Program, which was essential to bring this trail. Without further ado, I'd love to introduce Grace Gallucci, the Executive Director and CEO of NOACA.
Thank you, Brian, for the introduction and the lead into what I'll be focusing on today: bicycle trails as part of a modern transportation infrastructure, and the importance of including equity, which is a precursor for true access and mobility for all people. I'm honored to be here on behalf of the NOACA board in celebration of this day with our friends and partners, in particular, the City of Cleveland, Cuyahoga County, the Metroparks, and of course, the Mandel Foundation. Well, the County Planning Commission, of course, to me is part of the county, but I understand it's not. There we go. I think I'd rather have the one that was standing up here as opposed to the one I have to hold. There we go. I'm not going to go through all 4 pages either. There we go. As the Metropolitan Planning Organization for Northeast Ohio, we are vested in this project as it fills a critical gap in connecting the people to the lakefront, the Cleveland Lakefront Bikeway. Planners have long known that trails and green space are a vital part of our transportation infrastructure. They make communities more livable, more desirable, strengthen the economy, and improve public health. The Cuyahoga County Greenways Partnership expanded the mobility options available throughout Cuyahoga County and thus throughout the entire region. They are the mile markers for linking neighborhoods, parks, Lake Erie, the Cuyahoga River, public transit through a comprehensive county-wide and region-wide network of trails. This is a much-needed project that creates connections between the communities and the lakefront. NOACA's commitment to this project has not only been to the trails planning, as was mentioned earlier, the Transportation for Livable Communities Initiative, one of NOACA's flagship programs, gave birth to the plan for this greenway. But also, we foster and care for the projects through planning and into implementation, which means funding. The agency has awarded the project almost $5.7 million, nearly half of the proposed $12 million price tag. And we've done so with a new program called Carbon Reduction Program. In fact, this is the first project to use NOACA's Carbon Reduction Program funds that was awarded as part of the IIJA, the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act. Why? Because building bicycle infrastructure removes cars off the road, slows traffic congestion, and helps reduce carbon emissions. Why else? Because providing multimodal options and building bicycle infrastructure as a means of alternative transportation is certainly a regional priority, but so is equity. Notice how I did it that time. That was a little more graceful. Part of NOACA's vision statement is to enhance the quality of life of the citizens in Northeast Ohio. Prioritizing projects such as the North Marginal Lakefront Trail speaks to the value of equity by providing safe and welcoming transportation assets for people of all ages and all abilities. Think about it. Bringing equity into the equation increases biking and walking opportunities and reduces health-related disparities that often plague our environmental justice communities. Providing access for all communities ensures that transportation infrastructure benefits everyone in the region, regardless of their socioeconomic status. Thinking of it as a fair allocation of resources to lower resource neighborhood that promotes real access and mobility. And lastly, residents of underserved areas face higher injury risks due to inadequate infrastructure. Incorporating equity into planning and measuring it as an outcome mitigates these risks. Prioritizing equity in bicycle infrastructure planning plays a vital role in creating a healthy, safer, and more efficient urban space for all. As I stand here in front of you, I'm proud to say that NOACA has invested tens of millions of dollars on the completion of 21 trail segments totaling about 31 miles throughout the region over the past 10 years. NOACA is super excited about this next improvement as we continue to plan and build regional connectivity. NOACA remains committed to allocating the funds to provide safer access to regional assets for all people. Thank you.
Thank you, Grace. Let's give all of our speakers another round of applause. Amazing morning. Having not been from Cleveland, it's interesting to see how names kind of stick with things when you talk about how we're going to name this in the future and the legacy of the Mandels. The trail will be now known as the Mandel Community Trail, and it's my pleasure to do the groundbreaking to start this official trail. So please join us over here. We're going to put the shovels in the ground, and we're going to get this trail under construction that will open in 2026. 1, 2, 3.
Hey!